Hi guys. You can't comment. So today we're having lunch with Beck. So this is a standard everyday lunch that we do. Beck brought in these rules a couple of years ago. Cool. So everyone gets to hear me rave on, and they just get to hear Beck going, "Hi guys,"
and getting annoyed
and
with me.
I keep saying that. Why do I keep saying that? I don't know what to say. So today is going to be a day where you get to hear Beck, not me. So I was going to start it off with some questions without notice.
Oh my god, I feel really awkward. I feel really awkward now.
You're
as
scared,
well.
aren't you?
A little bit, and I also just feel really awkward. I thought this was a good idea, and now I'm like...
I wanted to talk about some stuff from Beck's point of view, what she sees, hears, and the things that she can pass back on to photographers from a different viewpoint to what I see. It's only a biscuit.
I have no upper body strength.
Alright, so the very first thing I want to start off with is, just from a model's point of view, how does a photographer who doesn't think he's worthy of you get to shoot you?
I do not work with photographers that, I know if I look at their work and it's not something that's going to better my folio, I'm not going to work with them unless it is a paid shoot. Because I'm at the point now that I don't need to do that.
Right, but if it's a paid shoot, you're still going to have... You're still going to look at their folio and decide if you'd work with them as a paid shoot or not?
Yeah, definitely still that as well. And I've still got to like their work. I'm not going to just do absolutely anything for money. If their work is what I'd consider not something that I would want in my folio, but it's still okay, they would have to pay. But if I just think like, no, I absolutely do not want to do that, then...
Like wear fishing clothes.
That's different, that's e-commerce. You can't bring up that.
So there's what we call commercial photography.
Yes.
And pretty much you'll sell your soul for.
Yeah, basically.
Which you charge as high as you can. The next level down is private photography, which you are going to be picky on.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be unpaid folio work or test shoots, which you are going to be super picky on.
I'm super picky on test shoots. I'm like, yeah, very, very picky when it comes to that. But that's because I've been doing this for a while, so I can be picky about what I want in my folio.
Well, not just that. You can be picky on what you do on a Saturday.
That as well. I remember that.
Do you want to give up a Saturday for something that you're not going to use?
Yeah, that's another big thing. I think that was one of the reasons that I did stop modelling years ago, was I was sick of giving up my Saturdays to go off to do a test shoot and then get photos back and be like, I never want the world to see this photo, and now I've just wasted an entire day off that I could have stayed at home playing video games. Well, it's true.
Well, that was when you were younger, but now
yeah, that's what I mean. This is when I was
painting pergolas and doing
yeah,
gardening.
this is like when I was like, I don't know, 19, 20.
I want to get more into the details. So we have a photographer out there, and he's listening to this and he'd like to book you, and now he's got to go and look at his folio and go, what is she going to be looking at in my folio, judging if she would work with me for nothing, work with me for money, or not work with me at all. Number one, if you're not going to work with the person, what is the main things you're looking at?
Mostly if it's tasteful for starters, and if it's like tasteful for women. I'm not into men magazine type of stuff too much. If I can see that like there is some kind of men magazine, but then there is some stuff that isn't, it's like, okay, they do a variety of stuff. But if it is just purely men magazine or boudoir based, I'm going to say no, because that's not the look I'm trying to put out to the world.
So it's not so much the photographer's skill, it's the type of work he does. Because you're not really seeing skills except
I'm not a photographer. I'm not looking at things technically and being like, oh wow, they got the lighting absolutely perfectly and all this, that. No, I don't look at things technically like that. I'm also look at the feel of the overall image.
The emotion of the picture.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of photographers get it wrong. They think that the model is looking at how well you've handled your highlights to your shadows.
No,
they don't care about that. That's got nothing to do with it. They care about the feel of what the picture's going to give out. And a lot of fashion work, most photographers go, oh, that's crap photography. Well, it's actually not.
It's not. It's the emotion.
style of capturing stuff that looks real, not so much processed.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't mind process though.
Yeah. You want to shoot with Beck, the best way is to just over Photoshop the living Christ out of it, so she looks like a CGI creation. I'm only asking Beck about this. We know that lots of the models we work with will have very, very similar views. What's the best way for them to first contact you?
Probably Instagram.
So you read all the people that you're not following?
I miss a few of them because I do get quite a few. I try and read them all.
Do most models don't though, do they? How else would someone contact you?
Yeah,
It's really the only way, isn't it?
it is, and it's
Because most models don't use Facebook anymore.
no, I don't have. Well, I have Facebook, but I don't use it. So I'd say Instagram. It's then just. Hopefully, I don't miss your message. Like, I do miss a few of them, though. I'm sorry if anyone's watching this and they've tried to message me and I haven't replied.
Can you see the problem that the photographers out there?
I understand. That's why I'm trying to think of a way to help, but I
Right,
still
so-
think it's the best way, though, is Instagram.
And this isn't about how to book back. This is
You were just
basically
asking about
using
A
Beck
model is, yeah.
as what the problem you're going to have with most models. Right. So they've sent an email. Are you wanting a storyboard
Yeah, I'll look at their work first, and if I'm interested, then I'll want a storyboard.
or some type of what are we doing?
Yeah, some type of what are we doing?
All right. So then if it was me and I'm going to say, well, I don't do a storyboard, we'll see what happens on the day.
Yeah, cool. I'm down with that. I'll bring a bunch of
Is
clothes.
that because you're used to me? Yeah, right. But would other models feel the same way? Although most of them we explain, when they say what we're doing on the day, we explain it. Most of them seem keen.
Yeah, they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'll just
they're
bring a
cool,
bunch of
just- yeah.
clothes and we'll just play around and do stuff. So I'd feel this. Oh, that happened to me the other week on a shoot. The photographer, I said, what are we doing? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really have a storyboard. I just thought we'll see where we go with it. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right, so it's a test shoot. So are you expecting hair and makeup and a clothing stylist?
No.
Do you want a hair and makeup and
No.
clothing stylist? What about other models though? Do you
A
think
lot
they
of-
think they need to ask for it? But at the end of the day, for a test shoot, first off test shoot, they're going to waste 3 hours in a chair
And then have it be all about the stylist putting their clothes onto
or
them.
changing their face for the makeup.
Completely unnecessary. I just think models like think it's a photo shoot. That's what happens on a photo shoot. We have hair and makeup. We have a stylist. Whereas, like the few photographers that I have been working with, aside from you, they're the same. They don't organise like hair and makeup and stylists and stuff. They're really similar. For test shoots, at least. If it's a campaign or like if it's a big like thought out project, then it's a bit of a different story. But
That's
if
not a test shoot.
that's not a test shoot, exactly. So just a test
And,
shoot.
and I really feel if someone's going to do a big campaign and something like that, they're risking a lot if they've never worked with a model. They
That's why
really
you
should
need
be
test
having a
shoots.
test first, and then they'll know if that model will fit the box better. So, would I be right that 90% of models can do a good enough job of their hair and makeup for a test shoot, and they're going to
Absolutely.
actually be happier because that's how they like their makeup done. That's like how they like their hair done, and they
Absolutely.
haven't wasted 3 hours of their day.
I was gonna lead off onto that before that. I find most models are happier to do that. Like everyone loves sitting there getting, well, most girls love sitting there getting feeling of,
Pampered.
yeah, it's a nice feeling. But I find most models are better when they do their own hair and makeup because it's that eyeshadow may not suit, or like the shape that they put it on, it might not suit the model.
All right, so you come to greens, you're doing a shoot. Now you turn up to the shoot. What do you expect? What are going to give you alarm bells? What are going to make you feel comfortable? What are you expecting?
Someone who's nice and friendly, someone who's not like, gee, you're pretty. Someone who's not touchy. I mean, like, I don't mind if you want to give me a hug, but normally I don't really hug when I first meet someone. It's normally like a,
Hi.
yeah. Normally if like, say we're in a studio or an apartment or something, they would have kind of thought out some shooting areas, like where they've sussed out the lighting and they're like, okay, over here is going to work. And just a kind of general good vibe, I guess. Like,
So, but you're not looking for how good the studio is, not what the gear's on the ground.
no.
If you're going into his house, how clean or messy it is. Like, I don't mean dirty. I mean, like, you don't care if it's a messy house.
No.
Or,
I'm care if it's dirty.
yeah.
I expect respect, I guess, like is anything. I just don't want to get there and just be spoken to badly and have someone be a total, just not creepy, just a general good vibe. Non-judgmental, nice and friendly, and maybe with a bit of a kind of mapped out, like, oh, we're going to shoot in this area.
Or this is what I was thinking.
Or, yeah.
Cool.
Something like that is basically all I'm expecting. I don't care what cameras you pull out. I don't care what lenses you pull out. Care about that. I don't think any of the models that we work with knows like Hasselblad is like, oh my god.
Yeah, well, half of them say, I've never seen a camera like that. What's that?
Yeah.
Sort of, it's not. Yeah.
But then other photographers have a go. Oh, you got
your Hasselblad.
Yeah. So models don't really care about that.
And the models can't see the difference in the photo.
No.
All right. So we've gone through the introduction, the emails. You turning up there. What are you expecting from the photographer during the shoot?
Normally, like, positive reinforcement, I guess. Like, as we're shooting, maybe a bit of direction if I'm not doing what they want, or if they've got a specific thing that they're after. Like, yeah, give me a bit of direction, talking to me, keeping conscious about light and stuff, like checking the back of their camera to make sure that the photos are looking good, not just like continually clicking. Like, I like to see a photographer checking.
What about sharing?
I definitely like to see the photo as well. I like to see what it's looking like, and if I look good, and if I don't, then I can adjust something.
What about if he's got the ugliest light in the world on you?
I'd probably say something.
Would you?
I think. I think so. It would depend my confidence levels on that. If I felt like I could say something to them, I would probably tell them this lighting would actually look so much better if I tilted this. Or I'd probably, actually, I don't know if I would say it as much as I would.
Better to the light.
I would just kind of start itching my way towards it rather than say something to them. Yeah, I guess just talking to me and being friendly, like as they're shooting, showing me, changing things as we go. I know you're not really one on too much direction, but I don't mind it if a photographer's like...
I still give directions, just don't do it in the way that other people do it.
I don't mind if someone's like, oh, can we just try with like with your hand up? Like, I don't mind that. I kind of like that.
But that's just not my style.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, oh, I don't mind. I actually prefer it if you kind of tell me what you want, because otherwise I'm just going to do my thing, and please let me know if you don't like my thing and tell me what you want me to do.
Right, so
I'd expect a level that they would tell me if what I'm doing looks bad. So I'd expect them to tell me, hey, you've got a loop in your hair, or hey, that's actually looking, working, this isn't working. Or,
you've got a hair tie on.
Yeah, which I do right now.
Which you would never do, not in a million years.
I would expect them to tell me if something isn't working, much as I would probably make it obvious to them if something wasn't working.
All right, so you get to the end of this shoot. What do you expect?
Well, I normally expect that I get to see photos during... I don't expect to get to see all the photos at the end. I kind of like to see photos as I'm going. Expect a conversation about how we're going to go about
what's happening next. So do you send me the photos in a Dropbox, and then I get to pick out like how do you work? 'Cause everyone is different. Some photographers don't do that. They just pick the ones that they like and they edit them and send them. Some will send like a short list and then I pick from them. Yes, I'm just expecting a conversation.
So why do you do that at the end? What happens if he's like me and says, well, you're only going to get the best and I'm going to pick it?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
All right, so what do I do?
You like get models to go through and mark their photos that they like so that you get an idea of what they do like about themselves and what they don't like about themselves.
So then I can pick the best one and know what to fix to keep them happy. But other photographers aren't doing that.
No. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm just saying.
I've just never thought about that.
You've seen the way I work. It's completely different in the way of I'll let the model go through, take it. I even let the model take screenshots because I don't care. People are going to see it's a screenshot, so it's not edited. At the end, the photographers need to know what a model expects. One thing I would say is this should be more spoken about at the start or in the correspondence beforehand.
Yeah, like that does make sense. When you just asked that, that's why I was like, I don't know why I haven't thought about that before.
Now picked out some pictures. You've maybe agreed that you both love this picture. And so what do you expect next from that?
Just something that's kind of good enough quality for me to post on Instagram, and
So you're not expecting a high res.
I'm not going to print it. Why
Right.
do I need high res?
So basically, you're happy as long as you have something that is at a digital quality good enough
Yeah.
to be either used by an agency for your comp card, or agency for your digital comp card, or Instagram, or
That's all I'm really expecting. Like, I'm not expecting, just as long as I get, like, a nice photo or two for me to post, I'm happy. Out of a test shoot. That's kind of all I really. I don't care if the photographer, like, doesn't post them or anything. I would never ask a photographer, can you please post
Post
a
this
photo
picture.
of me? I would never ask someone to please post a photo of me.
what's the best thing a photographer's ever done?
The best.
Yeah. You've never left a shoot and said, "I was so happy he did that."
Yeah, nothing. I don't know. I don't really.
Everything they've done is what you expect a photographer to do.
Yeah, and I've just left being like, oh, they were a really nice person. I really enjoyed that shoot. That was a really fun day.
Cool. All right. So the reason I asked that question is it's going to become very obvious now. What is the worst things that have happened on a shoot?
Be asked to get naked when I've specifically said no, I do not do nude, and this happens. Like, it doesn't happen a lot because I'm very firm with it, but it has happened quite a few times, and it just really bothers me because in the first correspondence, I point out I do not do nude, and if you look in my folio and you see implied nude, sorry, that is something that I will only do with a photographer that I feel 200% comfortable with. That is never a first shoot.
And you're not
Thing.
actually nude.
And I'm not nude. So, no, I don't do nude flat out, and no, we're not doing implied nude on this shoot.
And then they ask you.
And then I get
during
to the shoot, and then they still ask me, oh, do you think we could do this, like, implied? And it's, no, I've told you. And that just really bothers me because I've set my boundaries, and I find it really disrespectful to try and push someone's boundaries like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Have you ever seen me push a model?
No.
No. I will say to a model, hey,
Would you like
I'm thinking about doing this. If they say no, that's
just
the end
like,
of
okay,
it.
cool.
And normally, most of the time, I say I work within the model's boundaries. You set your boundary for me.
And we normally won't even ask a model if they want to do implied unless they pick out implied or we've seen something in their folio that shows that they've done that before. But someone who looks like they've never done that, they don't pick any implied stuff, we would never ask.
No, no.
So I just find it really rude.
So I hope that stood out as strong to you as to me. Like, she can't even remember the best thing, but she can very simply remember the worst thing, which means you should be working at a certain level and a respect for the models to be able to get, number one, the model to work with you again. And models talk, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, do models talk? So no photographer's ever given you Billy Cart champagne, some cheese, biscuits on a shoot?
No, they have not.
There you go. That's the easiest way to get back to shoot with you. All right, is there anything you can recommend to photographers what they could do better to get better shots? From the initial contact right through to the end, is there anything that you see photographers could do, as a general rule, do a bit better?
I think reference photos does help, whether it's, or setting a kind of mood, like letting me know what exactly they do want to create. Like, even if we collaborate on it, if they're like, I don't have anything, and I'm like, cool, well, I've found these photos recently that I really like, and I send them through, and they're like, yeah, I really like that, or no, I don't really feel like, just as long as there's something to go off.
So you got an idea of what you're going to be doing on that day,
Yeah.
which is completely different to what I do. Do you think they should communicate better with you during the shoot?
I'm pretty lucky that
The
I don't-
photographers you're working with are...
they're
Yeah.
already doing that, but
Yeah.
I do think that there are photographers out there who probably would struggle in that area. But, and I know we get comments about like the video where I took photos of you. So many people said that, like, I struggle so much with this. Like, this pointed out to me that I really need to work on the communication. I think, but
And if you haven't seen it, we'll leave a link for that
Yeah.
that video. We'll put it at the end to see how Beck's been working with me, like, as my assistant for what, 3 years?
3.5 years.
3.5
Maybe
years.
4 in February.
So, and so she gets to see me doing every type of shoot.
Yeah.
And you'd think she would have learned something about that. And when we changed the role, the simplest little thing at the start, and I think this is one of the big points, is what am I trying to create?
Yeah.
Then when you know what you're trying to create, all right, I need to make them laugh. I may need to make them look more serious. You already know the style of picture you're trying to create. So it's to me, it's very important that you see an environment, you see the model, you go, all right, that will look really cool with the hat on. And if we stitch you in now and we mimic that hat with that branch, maybe I need to go a wider lens to get that. And if you impart some of that onto the model, they will get on board with the whole idea, and you've got more chance of either succeeding or failing badly, but you're going to know very quickly if this is going to work or not. And we fail all the time, don't we?
Yeah, but we just take a few frames and then
No,
it's
this
not
looks
working.
crap. This is not working. Change.
And I think that's the other thing as well. I think photographers need to have that confidence to, even if a model like says, "Oh, I bought this dress with me. I really want to wear it," and you take a few photos. If you don't like how it's looking, tell the model, "Hey, it's actually not looking," and show them the photo and say, "Let's change it up."
all the time.
And I think it's good to have that honesty and that transparency. And like, even sometimes if a model, you can see that like, maybe she's got a pimple on her cheek and you can see she's hung up about it. Peter will say, "Hey, I can see that you're upset about this. It's one click of a mouse in Photoshop." Say it in a joking way and let them know, "Hey, I've seen that you've got this pimple, but I've seen it, so I'm going to remove it in Photoshop." I'm like, "Oh, cool, I feel better now." Whereas if they don't say anything, I'm like, "Oh no.
You're going to post it.
Is he going to post it with that on there? Is he going to Photoshop that out? Like, did he notice that? Surely he noticed that. How could you not notice that?" So I just prefer honesty. Like, tell me if something's not working. Tell me if something is working. Practice getting used to being confident, and you'll learn quickly what things work and what things don't. I hear Peter repeat himself all the time because
I wouldn't do that.
he knows what does work and what... He'll say something that'll work, and then he's like, "Oh, that really helped get this model to the next level." So then I hear him say this to every single model that comes in. But
and then she knows when I'm struggling with a model, she'll hear, "Oh, Peter's struggling. I know this is what he does when he's really struggling with her."
But if it works, it works. So I just think find good ways to communicate to get a good photo, not only for yourself but for the model, because if you can get a photo that the model loves, there is a very good chance she's going to want to shoot with you again, and
she's going to tell all her friends.
That as well.
Or models are going to tell the agency when she's with a client who's got a bad photographer. There was this really good photographer I worked with. It snowballs. Like, some of the feedback that we've got, like 10 steps down the chain 3 years later, is because one model was just blown away with something I did.
Yeah.
I think the final thing I'll finish on is try and treat the model, whoever they are, as an equal with you.
Yeah.
You're not better than them, they're not better than you, you're equal, you talk to each other equally, you give the same respect to both parties, and you're both there trying to create an awesome image for both of you. I think if you do that, there's not really much you can go wrong.
No, I think I said that at one point. The main thing I want is respect.
Respect.
I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I don't want this, "Oh my God, you are amazing. You are so pretty." But then I also don't want, "Oh, you're just the model."
Yeah.
I want that same level that, hey, we're both here to get a good photo at the end of the day. So let's work together and just be homies. Is that it?
That's
That's
it.
good? All right, cool. We better clean up.
Time to drink.
Refill, yay.
See ya.
Bye.